Alright, worst case scenario, if this video, if I don't want to post the video, it can just be Patreon stuff. So if you saw my community tab post, I've just been watching Fight Club, and this is coming off propranolol, which has increased my adrenaline and sort of done some weird stuff to my head, and yeah, I was getting some thoughts that are like, you know, the sort of dissociation that I get where, I mean, that's why I'm watching Fight Club, right? Because it was just getting a little bit too much, and there's a point where I feel compelled to watch the kind of stuff that just encourages it, and, yeah, so I mean, you know, coming off the propranolol with the adrenaline, it sort of made me a bit on edge, and, putting ideas in my head, and some of it is just like, you know, normal frustrations I have with socializing, the way that people are, the things they do that reinforce my schizoid personality disorder, but then that kind of moved to just having kind of wild ideas about music and my place in it and just my sense of self in general. So, you know, I mean, I wrote it on Facebook earlier today when I was in I had just gotten back from the GP, who has told me, yeah, no more propranolol. And she thinks that this adrenaline stage that I'm going through probably last a week, maybe, you know, once the propranolol gets out of my system and my system gets back to normal. Anyway, so I just came back from the GP, and I had written on Facebook, my private Facebook, about that feeling of energy, and I included thoughts about just withdrawing from the live music scene. I mean, you know, if someone gave me a gig, I wouldn't say no, but in terms of me actively trying to find that, just sort of giving up on that, focusing on music on YouTube. But on the flip side, these wild ideas about like, oh, I just make music videos for all my songs, which isn't realistic, but to do that, I need to have more of my image sorted, and sort of, this is why I'm like, oh, I need to sit down, do some soul searching, and figure out all of that stuff, and like, what do I really want to be doing, and, you know, because with all this adrenaline, it just, I don't know, I feel like it's what people with mania go through, except that I've just had enough sense not to actually do any of it, because I know it's the medication wearing off. But yeah, no, thoughts of like, I'll dye my hair red and black, because those seem to be my colors, or at least that part of me's colors. And I'll go and get semi-permanent vampire fangs. I know where to get that done. Like, my brain has just been, anytime I come across that stuff, filing away that stuff, saving it, I know where to go for that stuff, which is like, it's stuff that's been on my mind for ages. I don't think it's practical. I think it would not really be the greatest idea, but there's part of my brain that's like, that's a thing. That's the thing we should do. But you know, I've noticed if I'm reading an article or something on my phone or whatever, like just distracting myself in some way, then the adrenaline vibes, the sort of crazy, agitated, restless kind of vibes, they would go, but then the moment the distraction's gone, I was getting more of that restlessness, and so I think that's how I ended up watching Fight Club, because, you know, me and the floof, we got back to the room with enough time, although I did pause a few times and rewind, because to hear some of the dialogue, I feel like my subwoofer is too loud somehow, but it's the same subwoofer, nothing has changed. Anyway, so it took a little bit longer than the runtime of the movie. Spam call on my phone, had to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Anyway, finished the movie, and just very stuck, like the whole revelation, the twist, things blowing up, all of that is me bait. Or me, or that part of me bait. And yeah, so I was just bringing him out to do his night routine in this dissociated state. God, that hurts. He's got his goat horn on my leg. I think he's trying to like keep me grounded. Yeah, in this sort of dissociated state, he went out for his pee, brought him back in. I got his toothbrush on my finger, and that's when I started, like, you know, he got his horn, and while I was waiting for him and sat down, that's when I sort of came back to my usual sense of self. And what freaks me out is the physical sensations, not just like what's going on in my head, but like this sort of weird, it's not a real pain. We don't have to do that just yet. You continue. There's this sort of weird, like it's a pain, but it's not a real pain, but it feels like it's in a particular location. I don't know how to describe it. And sort of, I was starting to get distressed, and he came over and was like, you know, got me to scratch his back, and then now he's settled down on my leg, and it's quite, I'll show you the state of my leg in a moment when I get up, but and like what freaks me out is that this is stuff that I'm not making up. That's what freaks me out the most, because I haven't had this in a while. I've been pretty stable as far as dissociation goes. I'm not really sure why. I think at least since I did the gig. I don't remember before that. Like, I just remember before that I was unhappy. But, you know, my mood has picked up since I did the gig. I've been doing more music and art and sort of structuring my life better. Also, stress around the home has not been as bad. And so I've been kind of stable. But also, like, there's been nothing in particular triggering this whole part of my psychology. And, you know, when I'm having one of those stable periods, it's very easy to tell myself I don't have dissociation. That other part of me, like, it's just a thing that I made up. It's not a real thing I actually go through. I'm totally just like playing a part, like my life is boring, or I'm too restrained and it's just things that I imagine doing, or some kind of escapism or whatever. But no, and then something like this happens. This whole coming off propranolol has triggered the adrenaline, which in turn has triggered. And before, like, I was having sort of weird moments that were like dissociation, but now that I've had this full brief episode, I don't know what to call it. I can tell a difference between just like the mild background inside my brain having weird thoughts, and then when it like fully manifests as things that I'm feeling. Yeah, it's and I don't know, like, I watched recently, I forget her name, but there was some chick who has schizoaffective disorder, and she posted a vlog about how she's in psychosis and is self-aware enough to know about the psychosis, and she's talking about the voices and the people in the room that aren't actually in the room, and they would touch her, and she would sort of do all this, like, you know, the reaction she's having to the imaginary people in her brain touching her. What weirded me about that is, like, I recognize some of the way that she's behaving, because when there's no cameras and no one around, I've had things like that. I just don't imagine, or I don't hallucinate that people are around. It's just like this weird thing where my brain is, and so like I'm kind of questioning, is it dissociation like I've been told, or is it, I don't know, more on that schizophrenic scale? I don't know for sure, because I mean, like, we haven't really talked a huge amount about the dissociation in therapy, because often by the time I get to therapy, it's just not where my brain is at, you know. It's not something I really talk to people in real life. And, you know, it's hard to talk to the camera about. I think I'm getting a bit upset. But if I don't document it, then I can't, like, you know, what will happen next is I will calm down, a day will pass, and I'll forget just how intense the feeling was. That's why I have to, like, document it now, so that I can't bullshit myself later and be like, no, that wasn't a thing, it's just my imagination. But no, it's actually like this weird feeling that I experience, and I don't, and you know, my behavior changes. And the thing is though, like, I was able to get him through that part of the routine. Like, I'm still able to do all the same things, but I could see that the way I was doing it was different, and I don't know if he can tell, because like the way I patted him, like it is a little bit different. Like, I don't know if it was more performative or it's I don't understand. Okay, if it's a different part of me and if it has its own ideas, why is it following the same script, the same habits, but in its own way? I don't really get that. I mean, it's probably good that it follows the script, because in the past, when I've had that happen, you know, books have been torn apart. And yeah, the scene in Jekyll and Hyde, I think 2008 Dougray Scott one, I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, but Dougray or Dougray Scott, there's that one where the first time Mr. Hyde breaks out, or like the first time he changes or whatever, and all the Mr. Hyde does is sort of dance around the house, knock a few books off the bookshelf, and then sit down and get a letter opener and draw carve a slit into a notebook. Like, that is some of the most relatable shit I've ever seen in a split personality fiction. And that's the kind of stuff that has happened in the past when I've let it, I guess because of what I was going through back then. Like, I didn't really know what it was, and it can get intense. Like, that's why I ended up watching Fight Club, because it was just too much to keep saying no to everything. I've been very careful about not posting on social media too much. And not, like, making any big life decisions at the moment, because I know the adrenaline is, like, screwing with how I think. Like, on the upside, I've actually been doing really okay with the extra adrenaline, because it gives you energy. But I know that I could make all these plans, and then when all that wears off, I'll be back to being too tired to actually do any of it. So there's no point doing anything crazy while I know that's happening with my whole system. Like, physical system. I'm not using DID terminology. When I say system, I mean my physical, you know, that system in the normal sense of the word, not this bullshit culty language they use. My leg is going numb. I think I'm starting to calm down though. But yeah, no, I lost my train of thought. Maybe that's a spot to, but you know, just like, this is just like weirds me out, and I don't know what to do with it, and I don't really know how to bring it up in psychology. Like, she looks at my diaries, but I don't know how to say, hey, this is something I really need to, oh no, now I'm getting upset again. This is something I really need to sort of figure out, because most of the time, especially as I've gotten older, it's like really chilled out. I guess like when you're in your teens and your 20s, you're still trying to figure out your place in the world. And so with that being an intense thing that I was going through, it's like, what if that is the path I'm meant to follow? But I'm in my 30s now, and I've already screwed up my life. I've got too much mental illness to do much with it. And I've calmed down, you know, and I've come off the antidepressants. The antidepressants, I think, actually exacerbated a few things. Oh, I can't feel my foot. It's all pins and needles. Yeah. So I've calmed down, and so these days with that part of me, sorry, it's just my foot. It's just my foot. I can't feel my foot. Can I have my leg back yet? Yeah, no, and so these days with the dissociation, with that other part of me, I know I've been vague for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about and has got this far. So the whole Destroyer Mariko thing, that's like the two parts of me. Okay, and the Destroyer part, Used to be more prominent on my channel when I first started it, but these days not so much, and I haven't really let it do anything on camera, for fuck's sake. I'm not doing that again, as if I can manage it. But yeah, most of the time these days it's not like, it maybe is just a background noise or, you know, brief things, and most of the time it just fucks off for ages. Like, I thought I had gotten over it when I had that really big depression about 10 years ago. I thought it had gone for good, and then it came back and freaked me out. But since then, it's just this thing that will disappear for ages, and then something will trigger it again, and here we are on the floor, doing my best to document what I'm going through, just so I don't go all in denial later. But yeah, the thing about it going away for so long and then hitting me again is, I feel like the effects are a little bit more shocking to me when it does come back, because I get used to just doing my own thing, and, you know, maybe some background noise. The background noise isn't too bad because I can just dismiss it. I'm just like, oh, it's just me doing that thing I made up again. Like, it's nothing. But then when it hits me with the full, like, you know, my whole state of mind changes. And then when I come out of it, it has a very specific, like, physical emotional pattern. When I come out of it, I tend to be very distressed and I get very specific feelings, and it's a bit shocking. And then I'm just like, I was sitting here like this and sort of collapsing in on myself a bit, and then, you know, Hayes figured out that I'm stressed, and I think that's why he's been doing this for 16 minutes since I started filming, and, like, you know, he was doing it even, oh my god. I think he's trying to help me feel better and also just ground me, and, anyway, my foot, I do need to get up, but I think I've explained the main things. I've calmed down a bit. I'm a little bit nervous if I stop filming. Is it going to come back? Especially because, like, the adrenaline, I think my heart rates are better. I don't know. But, okay, so quick update on the medical stuff. I did see my GP today, and, so no more propranolol. Yeah, a week to maybe get out of my system, she reckons, although I did bring up my half-Japanese liver. Psychiatrist thought maybe that's an issue, so I don't know if it will take a bit longer for me to adjust. You're a good boy. Yes, you're a good boy. Thank you. I'm wrapping up now. You don't have to keep nibbling that, by the way. And we're just gonna, instead of preventatives, because, like, preventatives, they seem to all have these side effects. You know, I can't do any of the antidepressant ones. We're just gonna focus on, and, like, you know, with the specialist, like, they want to put Botox in my head, which has its own, no, I don't want that shit. So, yeah, we're just going to focus on acute treatments. So I've got, you know, the Max Out, the new one that I haven't tried yet, and then she's given me another script, which turns out to just be Panadol and caffeine. And I'm like, so does that mean I can just have caffeine and some tea? And she's like, no, it's like the equivalent of a really strong coffee, and I don't drink coffee, and the tea I drink is probably a bit weak. So I've got a script for those pills. I just think that's hilarious. Well, I need more caffeine. And, like, at the time I was having that sort of adrenaline thing where I was a little bit, you know, sitting in her office, it was really hard to keep that tamped down. And towards the end of the appointment, I was sort of, like, getting a bit like, yeah. Oh, my leg is, it's going to take me a while to stand up again, you know. Yeah, anyway, so that's what we're doing. And then, I did tell her about the probiotics, and she thought, yeah, maybe hay fever, but it could be like a preservative or something, so we don't know for sure what triggered the last lot of migraines, but she thought it was very interesting that coming off the probiotics fixed that, you know, the headaches I was having. And so we're just going to monitor it. She wants me to come back in, like, a month and, you know, just observe when I get headaches, what's been going on, what have I been eating, maybe we can identify something. Yeah, and sort of agreed with me, not that I shouldn't be posting on social media or making too many big decisions while I'm in that adrenaline state. I did have on my notes that dissociation was becoming an issue, but I think she feels very uncomfortable with that, so didn't really talk about that. But I included, like, with the dissociation, that part of me did not want to go back on the propranolol with the idea that it might... Oh, I'm sorry, I really need to... Look, he's made my pants all... Oh, I need my feet... I'm sorry, babe. Yeah. I just need to get feeling back into both my feet, actually. Yeah, so anyway, that's what's happening with the migraine propranolol. Sorry, I have to hold the phone now. It was resting on my other foot, and I can't feel either of them. They're both pins and needles. It's horrible. Maybe I'll just do it like that. Yeah, so that's what's going on. But with the dissociation, yeah, I think now I'm feeling a lot better, having rambled for 20 minutes about it. With him, I think he's trying to ground me. I don't know that I haven't taught him to do any of this stuff. I think he just knows that I'm struggling, so I gotta brush his teeth though and get to bed. Oh, my legs, my feet, my pins and needles. Oh my god. Oh, and then the feeling starts coming back, but in like weird ways, and he's still on my leg, and so it's... can I have... Oh, fucking... Oh. You're concerned. It's okay, I just need to get feeling back into my feet properly, otherwise I won't be able to stand. Oh my god. And if I just hold it for you, hey? While I work on my... Yeah. Or you can... No, I don't know. Anyway, so, yeah, it just weirds me out that, with all the dissociation stuff, like, I don't know if it's dissociation or something more on the schizophrenic scale, because schizoid does have some overlap, but I don't know if that's more biological or... Because I assume my schizoid is more trauma-based, but I don't know, trauma can trigger schizophrenia as well. I just haven't gone all the way, I guess. Well, brains are complicated. My point to myself, though, is I'm actually going through a thing, and I shouldn't be in denial of it, and... at the very least, I need to work out, like, what do I do about it? Do I just go through these episodes and let it pass? Or is there something I should actually be doing about it? And then, you know, with my life being messed up, like, if I handled that better, could I improve my life? Because when I was on antidepressants, like, that was also the whole period of time when I was doing a lot on the live scene with my past bands. I was having more dissociation, but I was, like, trying to compromise between the parts of me in my regular life, and, you know, things kind of went well until I came off the meds, grandparents died, went through a whole existential crisis, and kind of collapsed from burnout. But before that, I was actually doing all right. I'm just like, should I be compromising more? But I don't know how, and... Because, like, I did get into situations that were not good, which I will not elaborate on, and I don't want to go back there. But otherwise, like, I don't know how to manage it, and I don't have energy these days. I'm tired, I'm physically unwell a lot of the time. We're trying to work out this migraine stuff, so... Anyway, I can finally feel my legs and my feet and my toes. Yeah, just leave you on the floof chewing for a bit. Yeah, I'm gonna brush his teeth, we'll go to bed. And hopefully when I stop recording, and hopefully when I get to bed, probably when I get to bed and then just as I'm trying to go to sleep, that's when it'll hit me again, because that's usually when the dissociation gets me these days. But then I fall asleep and it's okay, and I usually wake up okay. But we'll see what happens. Alright, we gotta brush your teeth, babe. Say bye!